New Line Cinema, the only studio that could possibly f*** up the critical and financial windfall from the Lord of the Rings franchise. Ethan Embry isn't blind-spottingly ditching the band to join the Navy because he can't hardly wait. If you're going to have a Yankees jersey framed and matted and mounted, why would you allow the bottom edge of the jersey to go beneath the lower matting and label? Why would you pay for this shoddy craftsmanship?
Billy, you come out with me tonight, I promise you will get laid.
This kind of friend. Also, unkeepable promises.
What are some potential symptoms of pancreatitis?
The f***? This ain't Rounds, and Kumar's not an intern. Why the would the dean be asking this in a private interview? Especially since his dad set all this up essentially as a formality. This is like auditioning Kenneth Branagh for an acting role and asking him, how do you define iambic pentameter? Would you look at this professor dude's office? It's an orgy of evidence that learning f***ing sucks. I realize the scene is about showing Kumar's commitment to partying above all else, but why even go to a job interview if you're going to disrespect it this much? New Jersey.
Be yourself. Don't be nervous.
How many times must we see an introverted nerdy character hype her or himself to talk to the desirable other character before inevitably falling on their face in the following scene in movies? 10? 12? A baker's dozen? All I'm saying is that we f***ing get it, movies.
Eat a whole pint of Haagen-Dazs while I watch Blind Date.
You may think I'd be sending the show Blind Date here, but no, that show kind of ruled. Especially if you were sitting on your ass for a long period of time on a Friday night. But the real sin here is for Haagen-Dazs. Those American bastards have been masquerading as a Danish company for far too long. Nothing absolutely screams 2004 like having posters of Scissor Sisters and 50 Cent on your apartment wall. I'm not going to play the music, but I'm adding 5 sins for not only playing the Black Eyed Peas during this scene, they're playing the alternate version of their hit Let's Get It Started, a song that is somehow more offensive than the rest of their catalog. That's right, even including My Humps.
Dude, I trimmed my nose hair with those!
Dude, I've been cutting my ass hair with them for the past 6 months.
Okay, lots to unpack here. First of all, this is just the Odd Couple routine, only grosser. Second of all, what were you using to trim your asshole 7 months ago? Third, who uses scissors to trim their asshole hairs? Everyone knows you either wax that shit or you do the old-fashioned pinch and pull. Luckily, Harold has this dustbuster right here to clean up Kumar's pube hairs, but why the f*** would you mount a dustbuster right here? It's in the bedroom, mounted at shoulder level, and far from any likely mess that would require a dustbuster, unless you specifically had a roommate that trimmed their pubes right there.
I want the perfect food.
Are you hungry?
Okay, I'll believe a lot of the crazy magical shit that happens in this movie later on, but I won't believe that this TV was sitting there in complete silence until Kumar uttered this line, and then instantly became audible as soon as the White Castle commercial came on. Roll credits.
You sure you know how to get there? I haven't been to White Castle in ages.
This product placement pretending to be a movie sure does get started in a very self-effacing manner. The main characters are talking about how they never go there anymore.
No eating until we get to White Castle.
I see the first rule of White Castle is no eating until we get to White Castle, when it really should have been no talking about White Castle.
Supposedly Katie Holmes shows her in this movie.
Is that all you Jews ever think about?
Is this movie going to be the 16 Candles of the aughts?
Oh, they're totally gay for each other.
It is! Also, yes, Katie Holmes does appear topless in the 2000 movie The Gift, but the fact that these guys aren't already sucked into the actual story of this movie, which is awesome, is an affront to her, Kate Blanchett, Keanu Reeves, Sam Raimi, and I think God. Also, as I mentioned, this is 2004. Cable internet and gobs of porn are everywhere. I don't care how much you love Dawson's Creek. If you're choosing to watch a 2-hour movie for 3 seconds of celebrity nudity, over whacking off to MILF porn, then hanging out with your buds on a Friday night, especially if they're offering to drive, well, weed isn't your primary problem.
The only girls who are interested in me are girls I have no interest in.
Self-fulfilling prophecies. Also, seriously, Harold is an upwardly mobile, attractive 20-something, but you're telling me he's not even attempting to date anyone because of his impossible and unreasonably high standards for women?
Let me guess, the one with the purse is the catcher.
There is a ridiculous amount of gay jokes in this movie. And before you say this was a line from one of the antagonists that's obviously an asshole, note that both Kumar himself and their buddies from down the hall have made similarly stupid cracks already. And it's not even 15 minutes into the movie.
Hey, move your ass!
New Jersey.
Yeah, we need some tunage for this.
They've been driving for at least 10 minutes or more, and they haven't turned on any music? What f***ing psychopath doesn't listen to anything in the car, even if they're riding with someone else?
Yeah, we gotta check this out.
Hang on, because the White Castle they were looking for was replaced by a different franchise. They enter the drive-through to investigate? How the has that led to actionable intelligence in the history of ever?
No matter what, we are not ending this night without White Castle in our stomachs.
Hey, John. Wouldn't it be hilarious if we got the studio to sink millions of dollars into that story about us looking for White Castles that night? Here, Aiden, that was stupid as shit. No one wants to hear about our dumbasses wandering around New Jersey trying to find food. No, seriously, hear me out. What if we included Doogie Howser? Okay, you might be onto something there.
You were the one that threw our weed out the window, okay? So we're going to Princeton, and it's your responsibility to make sure we're high as shit by the time we're eating those burgers.
Kumar is a dick and a terrible friend.
I am not seeing Cindy Kim.
Harold, I'm so glad you showed up.
Character vows not to do something only to do that exact same thing in the next shot cliché. Kumar, who insisted they party tonight, then insisted they drive for White Castles tonight, then insisted they stop at Princeton for weed tonight, balks at paying a higher than expected price for f***ing weed.
There's these two filthy just aching to get boned by us.
I know Kumar is uncouth and all, but he does know how to behave in the company of others, right? Not only is this presumptuous at best and f***ing gross at worst, it's also brought up in the middle of the goddamn common room in a busy-ass university. I'm adding 25 sins right now for all the future times Kumar is a f***ing dickhead.
Hey, what's going on up there?
The first joint that Harold ditched was kind of understandable, since he didn't want to be photographed at the toll booth. But what the is this leaving all that weed on the stairs? This is such a stupid weed dump that it inspired Seth Rogen's character's terrible day in Pineapple Express. Also, once they get to the next floor, why are they running at all? How would the rent-a-cop know that they were the ones in the hallway? I'm just saying, for a couple of super experienced smokers, these guys have no f***ing chill. Okay, stacks of paper towels like this in between sinks in a public university bathroom, that is soggy and or caked into the countertop by 10:30 a.m. and movie knows it. Also, all 3 dispensers have plenty of soap. Are you f***ing kidding me? Has the movie ever used a public bathroom? Finally, peeking up over the stall doors would 100% be enough movement for these ladies to see the peeping Harold and Kumar, but movie suggests they just never see a thing.
Do you want to play battleship?
Jesus Christ, didn't we already cover the hot, well-dressed women also poop disgustingly subject matter in not another teen movie? I can't tell which is the movie's true MacGuffin, the weed or the White Castle. I don't care how awful this experience was using this much toilet paper. Also, neither of these women acknowledged that they heard a man scream in the stall next door, then ran out of the room, followed by the sound of another man running out of the room.
Should we?
Yes, you should.
Okay.
Yeah, and you thought the boob shot at the beginning of Logan was gratuitous. Also, I just realized this movie is essentially the same plot as Eyes Wide Shut. Much like Tom Cruise's character being completely unable to get laid. In that film, there was weed everywhere around Harold and Kumar, but it's always just out of reach. It's easy to fake a car driving when you literally black out everything outside the car. This is some network sitcom bullshit right here. I know you're on a budget, but try a little bit, eh?
What are you doing?
Daddy needs to urinate.
Dude, the drive was all of 45 minutes from Burger Shack, and they probably already made it at least a third of the way there when they took the Princeton detour. Plus, neither of these assholes have drank anything during this trip, so why the sudden need to pull off the road in the middle of nowhere to piss? Eyeglasses suddenly appear on Harold, even though we saw the entire sequence of him pulling out his laptop, which included his hand placement the whole time. I'm betting this little continuity error shows up in the goof section of the movie's IMDb page, but I'm telling you, I do not look at that prior to watching these movies because the books don't matter. Walking this far off an abandoned road to take a leak. I've never heard of a raccoon climbing into a car that had a human in it, but I definitely know raccoons do whatever the they want. So the sin here is for raccoons. With absolutely no way to wash his hands after peeing, Kumar just walks back and climbs into the car, and the rest of the movie goes on with him having pee-pee hands. There's no way on Neil Patrick Harris's green earth that this raccoon could have gone from the back seat to the front of Harold without being detected. Don't even try to tell me he went under the passenger seat because that raccoon is too damn fat for that shit. Despite this wild and aggressive animal being in the front seat, Kumar decides to keep driving because humor's not going to squeeze itself out of this movie.
How are Katie Holmes'
You know the Holocaust? Picture the exact opposite of that.
Harold and Kumar go to Cringe Town.
2 words for you, bro. Medical marijuana.
If Kumar knew this was a possibility and he knew his dad and brother were working here, why didn't he do this while he was waiting for Harold to get tested for rabies? Just what time is it anyway? They went out late, went to a college party, then kept driving and nearly got in a wreck, and now they're at a hospital at what logically seems to be 12:35 a.m. But this hospital is hopping right now, man. Like a Walmart at noon on Saturday. Ryan Reynolds mistakes Kumar for a Dr. Patel, and that's definitely racist. But also, is that supposed to mean he's mistaking him for his dad or his brother, both of whom work here? Because neither of them look like Kumar at all.
He probably thinks I'm my brother.
Holy shit, they are saying Ryan Reynolds mistook Kumar for his brother that looks nothing like him. This movie is f***ed up, you guys. Kumar, this movie's villain so far, and utter dick poses as his brother and successfully performs surgery on a guy. I don't know if this says more about the general ability of actual surgeons or the benefits of horking back loads of weed in preparation for high-pressure medical procedures.
I'm officially done with my work.
What? Harold's been able to spend like 6 total minutes on whatever the he was doing on his laptop during this trip. If it were this easy to complete, why didn't he do that back at the office? The girl Harold likes also drove many miles out of her way tonight to a faraway town just to be yet another f***ing coincidence from heaven in this movie that has more coincidences than it does valid reasons to eat at White Castle.
You both have the same lame taste in movies.
Someone said this to Chris and I at a party back in 2011, and thus the seed of CinemaSins was planted, so you should blame that person for ruining movies for everybody. The entire car crash is predicated on the notion that Harold reached over the driver's side and pressed the gas pedal with his hand and somehow got stuck down there in this big-ass Toyota Camry. Listen, I don't want to get into the logistics of how I know this, but there is a lot more room on the driver's side floor of a mid-aughts Toyota Camry than you might imagine.
Get yourself something to drink, wash up, my wife, watch TV.
I have to say, Christopher Maloney is f***ing hilarious in this movie, but this entire sequence is as unnecessary to the plot as the disgusting makeup job on his character. Also, this whole setting steals heavily and disturbingly from the Newman and the Farmer's Daughter plot of the Bottle Deposit Seinfeld episode, only featuring more exposed
So, are you boys gonna me now or what?
romance.
Let's agree to never talk about what just happened.
Agreed.
You're never gonna tell this story? Dude, that's an awesome story. Even if you're still hung up on the gay panic bullshit, it's not like you actually did anything.
Forget White Castle. Let's go get some.
Of course, Neil Patrick Harris is the best part of this movie and deserves a send off. Don't forget, before he was Barney, it was this part that rebooted his career.
Hurry up, dudes. Hurry up. I'm losing wood.
It can come back later, dude. It's not like it's gone forever when it leaves, like your dad. It comes back indiscriminately, sometimes even after you want it to, like your stepdad. What's annoying about this movie is that they've driven so f***ing far from their home, but still keep running into people they know. And it's not like they're from the general neighborhood. These assholes live in their building. Lay's Stacks, the Stephen Baldwin of tubed chips.
Did Doogie Howser just steal my f***ing car?
I honestly think this movie began with this single line and worked outward from there to form a script.
This whole freaking night, this whole night is your fault.
Harold would f***ing rule all at CinemaSins.
Hey, there's a payphone across the street if you don't want to deal with those assholes.
What a weird spot for a payphone. Like, this is the middle of f***ing nowhere. And if a payphone were going to exist out here, why isn't it right next to the only gas station around for miles?
Kumar. What is that, like 5 O's or 2 U's?
See, now the movie is making fun of and pointing out anti-Asian racism in America, and it's on point. I'll take a sin off.
Thanks to your buddy. We're going downtown.
This one's on Harold, who should definitely have seen Kumar duck early enough to pull this punch. Honestly, this happens a lot in movies. It's like some sort of accidentally punches someone after intended punch victim ducks cliche or some What the what? This kid was detained on campus at Princeton, where Harold and Kumar left hours ago. Why the is he being processed at this station out in the goddamn boonies? Kumar called in a fake report of a shooting and dieharded himself into the air ducts of this police department, and he doesn't have a cell. He made the call and then got up into the ducts within like 60 seconds tops, which is some bullshit. This montage of Kumar being in love with the giant bag of weed is humorous, but no stoner worth their salt would ever marry perfectly smokable weed. You might marry a weed dealer, or a person that smells like weed, or looks like weed, but smokable weed, you would smoke.
Still in jail.
And you can easily reach the keys to the door to free yourself, so why are we going through this charade while Kumar gets the weed? This movie is so goddamn dumb. I don't know whether to remove a sin for how dumb it is or give this 20 extra ones. Okay, let's meet in the middle. I feel bad for this actress. She's in a bunch of scenes, but only as girl Harold lusts over and who wears skimpy clothes and licks his face in his dreams. It's a hilarious bit that Neil Patrick Harris drives by in Harold's car, standing up through the sunroof with naked women, but no one is steering that car, and that's not how cars work, at least not in 2004. Let's go over some ground rules for basic humanity. Just because racist bullies act like racist bullies in a parking lot, you are not allowed to steal their car. That's not how things work. There's a montage of songs on the tape here, which I can't play for you, but it goes Total Eclipse of the Heart, Baby Baby by Amy Grant, then Hold On from Wilson Phillips. And this movie was stretching to get to 88 minutes. Stretching. New Jersey.
Bingo.
In a movie that features magical cheetahs, disfigured Jesus freak swingers, and a Ryan Reynolds cameo, the most unbelievable part is that this cop recognizes Harold and Kumar in the pitch black of night when they're doing 60 miles an hour.
Fudge, dude, are you kidding me?
In an R-rated movie, this guy says, "Fudge, dude." Then there's to ask the other guy if he's kidding him. The cop goes from this far back to being so far back he couldn't see this move, or any light from the headlights or anything. This is a lie. And this is coming from a guy who once accidentally outran cops that were... I've already said too much. Some bullshit. I'm really glad they went into the real mountains of New Jersey to shoot this scene, instead of using a green screen and cheaping out. The sky went from total night to total f***ing daylight. Like, this is 11:15 and not even close to dawn. Wait, they left the f***ing weed in the car? What about these characters would ever make you think they'd leave that much weed in the car, or any weed? No one will be seated while these assholes hang glide miles out of their way to get to a White Castle that was super close last night. Harold and Kumar survived this. Here's a sin for good old-fashioned unearned infuriating goddamn luck. Getting blocked by the cop that locked you up for cold his top without chalking it up to a crock sock.
Dude, where's my car? Where's his car, dude?
Sigh. Stoner comedy references are almost always half-baked.
Where you going?
Wherever God takes me.
I feel like God has probably checked out on your life's ride, my man. And you've been horny all movie long, so why not just say wherever my takes me and be done with it? Getting this many individual drinks when there are free refills available. Of course, the asshole bosses walk in because they just picked up some beautiful women last night, and nothing prepares you for morning coitus like downing a ton of White Castle burgers. As Harold goes off on the office bullies that took advantage of him, I can't help but feel like roughly 99% of this anger should be directed at Kumar for, well, being Kumar, aka being an asshole. Making out with someone that very recently hooved 30 White Castles.
You do realize what's legal in Amsterdam, don't you?
Oh yeah, because they've had such a hard time scoring weed here in the States.
It tastes like feet.
It's the Catalina f***ing wine mixer, okay?
Are you saying pow? What are you saying?
It's the biggest helicopter leasing event in the Western Hemisphere since 1997.
Hello, Peter. What's happening?
What are you doing? I think I'm parking my car. You can't do that. You can't just sneak in from the back like that.
I guess we'll be going down together. I mean, getting off together.
If you test me, you will fail.
I'm not your bro.
I'm not your buddy, friend. He's not your friend, guy.
Oh my God, you guys, there's like literally a penis attached to my body right now.
Time to make the chimmy and chongas.
Why don't you just go have a seat in the living room and I'll be back in a jiffy.
Bill!